Huge boxing kind of came from the inspiration of storytelling. I spent a bit of time out in LA recently. I was around the movies, writers, and really got into to characters. And I kind of thought, well, how could I blend that with something that I really love and I'm really passionate about?
Is that something with a 3-chapter vision?
100%. And I looked at boxing and I was like, there isn't enough storytelling in boxing. And boxers as characters have the best stories. So we created a huge boxing off the back of that. And we have 3 chapters, like most great movies and books, a beginning, a middle, and an end. And chapter 1, Friday night, is origins. And that's the beginning for most people. Destiny and then legacy at the end.
Do you think this event embodies your vision of the sport?
100%. Like this event, I just couldn't have picked a more perfect venue. I think we've got a brilliant lineup, all future stars. I mean, for somebody's debut event, it's very uncommon that you would have the names and also design backing us as well. Mm-hmm. So for me, the beginning of my chapter, it's a pleasure to share with everybody else.
I think it's clear that Huge Boxing has created a platform for the next generation of boxing stars. Speaking of stars, I think it's time to meet the fighters. Dorian, firstly, how's your training been?
My training been good. We've been training hard at the Peacock with my team, and we're looking forward for the Friday night.
Yeah? How do you mentally prepare for the challenges that you might face in the ring?
Most important to be prepared mentally and to look forward and to do your thing.
One of the questions that I had, Dorian, was obviously looking forward to Friday night. This is a big lineup. How do you feel being part of this event?
I feel excited because it's a big opportunity, and I would like to do my best to prove it. Like I can do my best in the ring to show what I can do.
Well, we're working hard on still getting you an opponent because you're not an easy man to match. But when we do, we're going to see a big KO Friday night.
I'm looking forward to it. Thank you.
You must have a lot of support in Ukraine as well.
Yeah, I have a lot of support in Ukraine and even here now, because back in the day when I was started boxing, it was hard to sell myself, to be honest, yeah. But now I have my friends, I have more teammates, and I have some support even here now.
Fantastic.
We're looking forward.
I've got one last question for you. If you could spend a day doing anything other than boxing, what would it be?
Boxing. Boxing or gym time or somewhere, but which is gonna be a sport day anyway.
Fantastic. Thank you for your time, Dorian. Hello, Julia.
Hi.
Julia, your journey in boxing has been incredibly inspirational. What's been the most defining moment of your career so far?
I would say the decision to go pro, probably. I'm hoping that this upcoming show will actually be the defining moment that I'll remember. There are so many, to be honest, there are so many moments, and every one of them has been defining in some shape or form. So I think it's just about, it's difficult to pick, but I would say it's about the journey of collecting those moments so that together they form a wonderful story that I can share with people and use to inspire people.
Is there one that you could choose?
I will say the moment I decided to go pro, because funnily enough, I had said that I never in a million years would I ever go pro. And I remember that moment that I decided, it was like very vividly deciding, you know what, that's what I'm doing. And it made sense at the time. So yeah, I would say that so far that's been kind of the moment that I've decided to walk this path.
Julia, you've got an amazing story, and part of that story is that you actually work in the police force. For everybody who doesn't know, could you explain what you do and how do you juggle that with boxing?
So I'm a detective in the child exploitation team, so I work a lot with young people. part of my role is to safeguard young people from things like gang exploitation, sexual exploitation, knife crime, county lines, drug supply, all of that stuff. And the other prong to my work is obviously investigating the exploitation element by the perpetrators. For me, it's kind of a really beautiful synergy there's a really beautiful synergy with boxing, because I use boxing as a tool to divert the young people away from that kind of the allure of the streets, so to speak. So in terms of kind of juggling the two, I think one fuels the other really, they really coexist in a really wonderful harmony. So it's not that difficult because they're a package.
Yeah. One last question. You founded your own gym in London. How's that been, being part of a full-man system like that?
So the reason behind it, going back to the whole idea of origins, I wanted to provide a real concrete alternative to the kids. So often I found that a lot of the times we're telling them, don't do this, don't do that. But there wasn't something that I could concretely offer and say, but do this instead. So it was really important for me to have that option that I can offer to the kids straight away, and to be able to look after them, monitor the progress, and support them outside of work as well. So that's kind of been the story behind that. And so I guess I would say it's a trifecta of the three wonderful things that I can do through work, through the amateur coaching that I do, and the professional boxing, where I can be kind of a living example and a role model to the people that I work with.
I can tell the passion and you like helping, sense of community. Is that something you like?
Yeah, I think it's all about, and that also defines the story behind my boxing, is that I want to use it as a platform for a greater purpose. So it's not really an end in itself, but a means to an end, something greater, to inspire, to try and be a transformative force in the kids' lives. So that's what drives me, really.
Fantastic. Last thing, just for the opportunity and the media that might not have met you yet, what is one item that you can't live without in your day-to-day life?
One item, I would say, I gotta say my boxing gloves, right?
Oh.
I mean,
So boxing related.
I guess so, yeah, because without it, I don't know how I would do my training, so I mean, it's not particularly interesting, but...
Fantastic. Thank you, Julie.
Amazing story.
Shannon, you're fighting at a higher level than other fighters in your division. What drives you to keep pushing forward?
I think a few main different reasons. One of them being my freedom in life, another one being financial freedom, the third one being what I do every single day, putting my body and my mind through so much exhaustion and pain and all of that sort of stuff, is potentially changing someone else's life, or they're looking at me as an inspiration or something that could potentially help them. So I think I love that. And then the ultimate one is, to become a world champion and eventually, hopefully, become undisputed champion. So many various different reasons.
And women's boxing is growing. It's at a point that we've never seen before. Where do you want to be in women's boxing, and where do you think you can help take it?
I want to get to the top of the division. I truly believe I can do that. I know I have that, as another great boxer said, the one lesson on my record now. But that doesn't define my career or where I'm going to go. And I believe I can get to the top. And I just want to keep, helping paving the way where I'm at now, and helping other boxers along the way.
Shannon, let's just touch on that, because previously in build-up to this event we've spoken about taking your first loss. Now there's no shame in losing for the British and Commonwealth Championship. You rolled the dice to be great and you fell short. You've come back onto this show. I've heard you say that this is a new chapter for you. Could you elaborate on what that means?
Yeah, I truly believe I call it the rebirth of my career, and I truly believe that, I've never, the mental state that I'm in now, I've not had that before in the last 8 fights. I teamed up with a new coach, and that being Aaron Woodcock, and I think where I am now, mentally, physically, I've never been there before, and I'm excited to get going on Friday the 13th.
Brilliant, well we can't wait to have you, and obviously set yourself up for a big 2025. Is the British Commonwealth the route that you're going to go down again, or do you think you'll go past that and try and fill a world title?
I think we'll potentially go past that. I have been ordered for the EBU against Stephanie Silva. God willing, everything goes my way on Friday. And then push on from there, so yeah, we'll see.
Amazing.
Regarding Friday, the event is generating a lot of buzz, so how do you prepare for being in the main spotlight?
I think you prepare in the gym, you know, that's where the preparation comes from, and making sure you've left no stone unturned. And that's what I've done, and I'm ready to get going.
Just got one last question. What's one personal goal that you have outside of boxing?
A personal goal of mine would be to create like my own community and to be able to help others in a community that I have done myself.
Is that what boxing does, create this platform for you?
Yeah, of course, boxing allows me to help others. It gives me the platform, Instagram gives me a platform to be able to speak, use my voice, and share everything that I have via that.
It's a lovely message, Shannon. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
How you doing?
Firstly, how are you?
All good, thank you.
Fantastic. And you're known for your explosive performances in the ring. How do you keep refining your style, Linda?
The answers doesn't change. You know, we train hard, we have a goal, we push ourselves in the gym. Our coach Martin makes sure we train hard. You know, do what we're told, and we're hungry. So you know, the fighting is kind of the easy part. The training is the hard part. So when we're in the ring, we just enjoy ourselves and do what we can.
You've also made a habit of starting fast in your last few fights. Should fans expect another early knockout?
Hopefully.
Friday?
You know, we don't get paid for overtime, so hopefully we'll be in and out as quick as I can.
And you had a brilliant knockout for the Southern Area title against Alfie Winter. First round KO, I believe it was at York as well, just behind us. You've since took a loss since then, rebuilt yourself, come back with a brilliant win at York again. What is it about York that you love? You bring a massive support with you.
Yeah. It's at home to me and many other fighters. It's literally around the corner, and you know, on a personal level, my granddad actually boxed there. My dad and my uncle boxed there. So that's on a personal level. You know what I mean? It's like a bit of family history, but in general, it's got history itself. The venue itself holds history, and there's no atmosphere like York. You know, and the York on a good busy night, it's unbelievable, and it's second to none.
One last question for me. We spoke previously about being a Sikh boxer, flying the flag for your community. We're still yet to see a Sikh world champion. Do you think you can be the first one?
Yeah, definitely. Listen, the boys Royce, you know, I mean, there's one Sikh lad who's fighting in Canada next week. He's boxed for the IBO World Title, so hopefully, you know, he does the job. But you know, like I said, the ball's mine, so hopefully, you know, I've got a good team behind me. I've got you guys behind me boxing on these shows, and as long as I put the work in, dedicate myself to my craft, then you know, like I keep saying, the ball's mine. So.
Well, it all starts Friday 30 for us, and we're looking forward to a big 2025. It'll be fantastic.
Thank you.
You'd be a proud Punjabi, wouldn't you?
Definitely.
Lastly, if you could pick one cheat meal window, what would it be?
Pizza all day long. I'm going.
What's your favourite type of pizza?
Do you know what? I don't actually have a favourite. I just love pizza. Like if there's pizza, then I'm always a nick a slice. I'm going to New York next week, so I'm looking forward to the pizza that I'm going to school.
Oh, huge slices of pizza there.
Very nice.
Thank you, Inda.
Next piece of my level, never is never a good point.
Oh, absolutely love your outfit, Maisie. Maisie, being a Repton girl, you've described your call as your front room. You're back, you're ready to fight, you're looking forward to it?
Yeah, I can't wait. You know, boxing out of the Repton, it's legendary in itself. You know, to never box out of your course like a sin, it's a crime. And luckily, and thankfully to Charlie and Tony's put on the show, I'm able to do it. I'm able to tick off a little checkbox for myself, and yeah, brilliant, can't wait.
You've become a prominent figure in women's boxing, but how do you balance the pressure of being a role model with your career goals?
Listen, pressure is privilege, and to have pressure in yourself, it means you're doing good, it means you're doing something right. You know, if you wasn't any good, you wasn't any whatever, people wouldn't bother. You know, so yeah, take it my stride, do what I do, fight, hit people, and that's it.
I like that mantra.
Amazing. You've got a brilliant personality, and we've absolutely loved the build up to this event. We've also had a couple of really hard conversations as well. You took your first loss in your last fight. obviously looking to bounce back Friday night. But tell us a little bit about that. Tell us what this fight means Friday night, and tell us about what 2025 looks like for you.
The thing is, boxing is boxing, and this day and age of boxing where keeping your zero, keeping your O is like the be all and end all. That doesn't mean nothing really, you know. And to overcome something that was so soul destroying at the time, at the moment, I was like, oh, whatever. And to overcome that, and to be strong, and to work on myself, and to make sure that doesn't define me. Yeah, that's what it's all about. I'm a champion, and I know that. It's just not at the minute. I wasn't supposed to be. That's the story, and now it's time for me to rewrite it. And like I said, I like fighting. I absolutely adore fighting, and a loss is a lesson. And yeah, I hope it don't happen again. I'm going to sit here and say it's the best thing that's ever happened to me. I'm like, I've been lying. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, can't wait.
It's a great response, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, we've also spoke a bit about women's boxing and how this card's really highlighting women's boxing. We've got 3 brilliant women's fights on the card. Ellie Scottley's going to be one of our pundits on the night. Ramla Ali's also going to be commentating. Tell us about women's boxing and the platform that we need to keep growing within the sport.
The thing is, with women's boxing, it's on the up. It's getting more notice and more appreciated, especially by men in boxing as well. But if you go back, 12 years ago, that was the first time that women's boxing was even allowed in the Olympics. First time a woman's ever won a gold medal at the Olympics was 12 years ago. It's crazy, but it's on the way up. Having people like Ellie Scottley in South London, like me, Ramla Ali and all that, people are making moves in women's boxing, coming to shows like this and supporting us. It's massive. It's big. It's something that you'd want to happen, you know, something that a little girl, me at 8 years old, would dream of happening, you know, so yeah. Can't wait.
When you were 8 years old, what is something that you wanted to see from being a role model, from if someone else was watching today, taking back to that moment, what would you say?
What do you mean? No.
So if there's an 8-year-old watching today and they're seeing you sitting here, what would you say to them wanting to start boxing?
I'd just say just do it. Do you know, I never really had a woman to look up to when I was younger. I had my mum and that, and she liked fighting, but that was about it really. And really I never looked up to men. Now we're looking up to women in the sport who are doing great things for themselves, you know. People with all different kind of characters and people who carry themselves different ways or whatever. It's people who are doing the same thing, people that you want to do, you know, whatever. But yeah, I say to them, just do it. Just do it. You're going to get hit, you're going to get hurt, you're going to get losses, you're going to get beaten up. You might cry. I cry an awful lot, do you know what I mean? But it's alright, I like fighting. And that's it really.
It's a great message, Maisie. So after a tough training session, how do you normally relax or recharge?
I normally get the train home for about 2 hours and then...
We're still trying to get a driving test. I don't know why you haven't done that still.
It's a long story, Charlie, honestly. I have tried, but it's just sort of going down to where it's
Don't give up.
I love the train. I've got an Oyster card, it's brilliant. I don't mind it. Listen to me music, get home, get on the train again. That's it really.
What music are you listening to?
It depends on the day, do you know. Like if I'm sparring, I might listen to a bit of Nicki Minaj to get me in the mood. You know, get me a little bit pumped up. But if I'm feeling sharp, like nice and chill, maybe a bit of, I don't know, Afro beats. And if I'm feeling a bit mental, Chaz and Dave comes out. You know what I mean?
Thank you, Maisie.
Thank you. Thanks.
Hello, Carol. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. First of all, I'd like to thank Charlie, thank Tony for kind of giving us opportunity on this great card. Thanks to my manager Francis and Queensbury for kind of collaborating and kind of allowing me to be here in a sense. So, great to be out.
It's a great collaboration, isn't it?
Yeah, I just want to say that Carol might be the coolest person I know. The way he walked in there was just like nothing.
Well,
so relaxed, you might even fall backwards, Carol.
I just, I guess my family will be able to say a bit more about me, but yeah, I'm just enjoying that to be out because I wasn't meant to be boxing probably until next year. So
It's a fresh start for you.
It is definitely a fresh start. Obviously, I joined Shane, the McGuinness gym, and this is a great opportunity for us to kind of get comfortable with one another, kind of see how we'll work in those circumstances, and really kind of propel ourselves for next year.
Teaming up with Shane, what's that done for you?
not only has it kind of opened my eyes to what really kind of the methodology and the science behind actual pro boxing is, it kind of allowed me to also get into the good habits. I've kind of gone back to the scratch and really learn from the beginning, and I pray that's going to show.
Shane's a brilliant coach, arguably Britain's best, and I came to the gym, watched you two train together. You seem to be gelling very well. It's a very good environment, lots of great fighters around. Ellie Scott, Lee Adams in, Craig Richards is in that gym as well. How's it kind of been adapting to a new environment though? You kind of always trained with the same trainer, you and your brother trained alongside each other. He's obviously in a different camp, you're in a new camp. How have you found the adjustments?
Yeah, you're absolutely right there. Since we were young, since we started boxing, my brother and I have been in the same Rays Boxing Club back in Chatham, and we've kind of stayed in the same coach for our whole careers. Up until the point we both split, and I never liked change. However, earlier this year it was, you needed it. There comes a turning point where like you're in an environment too long. You just stop progressing. You need something new. You need to explore to kind of take it to the next level, and that's when I pushed the trigger. So we teamed up with Shane in the Green Gym, and just like you said, Charles, the environment there is just poised for growth. You've got Adam there, you've got Craig there, you've got Caroline, Ellie, Chris.
Very close.
Where's our list?
It's just a huge lineup if you think about it.
Exactly that. So what I'm doing is I'm creating that environment. So I'm in it, and now it's about developing, it's about growing, and really taking everything that Shane's telling me on board.
How did you adapt though to that close-knit environment?
It's tough to kind of explain that. You just like, you get put in that environment and you're forced to, but I'm quite a quick learner. So I listen and take things on board. That's how we've got 2 ears, 1 mouth, listen twice as much as you talk, and learn.
One of the questions I have for you is that you're a huge, tipped to be a huge name. You was a 2018 Olympic youth gold medalist. You were rising and storming through the programs. You fell short not too long ago. It's kind of been a little bit of inactivity since. Is that purely because maybe you was thinking about your future in the sport? We've seen you box in February. You're boxing now on this card, which kind of came as a bit of a surprise. What does 2025 look for you, and what was that period like for you?
Yeah, so you mentioned 2018, the Youth Olympics, and although that happened and I achieved that, it's kind of like I can't think about it because that is behind me. You can't go forward in life looking in a rearview mirror. Yeah, it's something I've achieved, but now it's about pushing on, getting better, improving, and I force myself to be in an environment where I'm going to grow and where I'm going to get to my aspirations, my dreams. I've been inactive this year due to personal reasons that my family know about. Maybe I might speak about it later on. But what 2025 looks for me is activity and making those incremental steps to the bigger picture, to the big goal. And what better way to kick it off on December 13th on this amazing show that you guys have put together.
We're going to talk about your support system. Are your brother be watching?
I won't be here. At least I hope so. I'm hoping to be there.
So, look, we're really excited to have you on the show Friday the 13th. You have been inactive, but we really look forward to a big 2025 for you as well. You are a rising star and a brilliant player, so we'll be keeping watching you.
I've just got one more question for you. I'll let you go. What's the hobby or interest that you have outside of boxing that might surprise your fans?
I don't know if you'll surprise them, but a big passion of mine is real estate. I love property.
Fantastic. Thank you for letting us know that. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much.
Hello, Dan as well.
Hi again.
How are you?
All good, thanks.
Fantastic. And what a dominant performance over the weekend. How did that feel, making history?
It felt good. It felt good. I've had a good year this year, and that was a good way to end it. So I'm pleased.
Denzel, you are the newly crowned British champion, European champion, WBO #1. You did fight Janabek before for the WBO world title. It was a brilliant fight. You just fell short. What's the goal now?
The goal is to get that fight again next year. I'm #1, soon to be mandatory. So if I can get that fight again next year, I'll be happy.
Well, we look forward to that, and obviously you're joining our punditry team for the night,
Yes.
Alongside Ellie Scotney and Alicia on the zone. Talk to us about the York Hall. You've boxed there many times. It must feel like a second home for you as well.
Yeah, the Yorkers been good to me. I've had some good performances there. two of them earlier in the year. Sorry. I had my debut there, boxed there loads of times. So I like York. It's like a little lion's den. Everyone's on top of you. When the crowd got mad, they got really mad. You can just hear every single bit of it. So if you're on there exciting fight and you're at York Hall, it's packed out. I mean, it makes for a good night. It is fun, yeah. It's very fun. Yeah, it's a lovely venue.
Well, George is making his first debut in York Hall. He hasn't fought there before.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Could you tell
The
us,
luxury.
what do you think the future holds for George Nero?
George is an amazing fighter, man. I sparred him quite a bit this camp. Him and Jimmy are both great fighters. George, ceiling is high. You know, he said lining at York Hall, and I think he's going to put on a good show. I've seen some of his performances in the past, and excited fighter. He's only young, so he's got a long journey ahead of him. So.
What about Jimmy? What do you think the future holds?
Jimmy's a good fighter. Carries a lot of power. His record, I think he's got 100% KO ratio. So he's probably going to put on an exciting night as well. So I'm just happy to be there and see what these two could do.
Well, it's great to have you here. I've also heard some other fighters refer to you as their leader and their big brother. What would you say to that?
Well, that's nice. I don't really put myself out to kind of be that, but if I can be that sort of inspiration to people, then that's a good thing. I'm always trying to give people advice and what they can do and stuff, because I've been there on that journey. I've taken a few L's and I've come back and look at the position I'm in now. So it's not the end of the world if you take a step back.
Last question from me. Obviously, you're down at the Peacock Gym, working closely with Martin Bowles and Bowell Brothers. We've also got Inda Bassi on the card, and we've also got Dorian Cressmaru. Talk to us about them guys. You spent a lot of time with them, and you're obviously showing the support Friday night.
Yeah, firstly Dorian, I'm excited to see him back. It's been a minute. He hadn't been in the gym and he's back, and he's been trying to, have a fight since he's been back, and it's hard to get him matched. He's a big guy. He's a very big guy.
Very hard to get matched, by the way.
And I'm not surprised, because you look at him and you think, this guy's a scary man. So I'm excited to see him back. It's a good card for him to be back on the zone, and hopefully he can showcase his skills live on the zone. What an opportunity for him. When he first came to this country and he was trying to box, he couldn't really get that support, so it's hard to get him out. And now he's grown that kind of support. He's made friends. Us at the gym, we support him and stuff. So it's good to see him back. And since he's joined us, he's just been flying. He's been flying. And he won the Southern area, defended it, had a setback against Sean Knox. Maybe the occasion got to him a little bit, but he's got an opportunity now here to kind of show the people that will tune into his zone what he's capable of, the skill set he has, and what we've seen in the gym, and why we appreciate his talent. So hopefully he does that on Friday.
You looking forward to it?
Yeah, I am, man. It's exciting. Those are good fighters, man. So it's good.
Thank you very much, Denzel.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Johnson. Look forward to seeing you.
Hello, Tony. How are you?
Yeah, good, thank you.
Fantastic. I'm going to introduce the next boxer. This boxer kicked off his pro debut in October 2023 with an impressive third round KO. Since then, he has fought 6 more times, amassing a perfect record of 7-0 with 7 KOs. He looks to continue his knockout run at 160 and be in line for the British title in 2025. Please join me to welcome Jimmy Sain.
Jimmy Sain's looking sharp.
Thanks, mate.
Tony, I'm going to start with you. What do you think about Jimmy's development so far?
Yeah, he's
I've got sound on the other mic.
yeah, he's been with me for 2 to 3 years before he turned professional. He was when he was amateur at Repton, and he come to me when he was like 18 or 19 when the gym. It was in COVID, and when all the gyms, with amateur gyms, was closed. And his dad asked if he could train at our gym, because obviously the pro gym was still open, and he was only a welterweight then, so he's been with me for quite a number of years before he actually turned professional.
A big part of this story and your story together, before we get on to you, Jimmy, is that you really wanted to turn pro. You kind of was boxing amateur, you was going through that kind of ABA system, you really wanted to turn pro, and Tony was the man who sat you down and said, not yet. How did that feel, being a young man who's really hungry to be a professional fighter, being told by somebody that actually I think it would be better for you to kind of just keep training in the background, keep coming into the gym, keep fighting at amateur level? How did that make you feel at that time?
I mean, at that time, like Tony said, there were, all the amateur gyms were shut, so it's a bit of a weird time throughout COVID. The pro gyms had just opened, so luckily to Tony, he let me come train down there, which is the best thing I've ever done. I mean, in boxing, though, my goal is to always turn pro and be world champion. I mean, it's nice to obviously go to the Olympics, world championships along the way, but my goal anyway was to be world champion and ultimately a great pro. But to just have that guidance of Tony to say, like, basically, listen, you're not ready, pretty much. Do you know what I mean? I had a couple of years in the gym with Tony, winning the senior ABAs, I think 3 times, got to the finals twice, weren't quite meant to be, but that's why I learnt my apprenticeship, and it's put me in good stead for the programme.
Tony, he's carried that punch power. Has he got what it takes?
Yeah, he's developing now, and his physique's developing. He could always punch as an amateur, but some people are late developers, and that's what I used to say to Jimmy, you have to wait to develop. You're a late developer, so you have to get what we call man strength, and he was always punching hard in the amateurs, but he never had the strength that he has got now. And he just turned 24 yesterday, wasn't it, Jim? So, he's developing into a man, and he's carrying that power through into the pros. As we say, he's had 7 fights and 7 KOs, and even whoever you boxed, a journeyman or whatever, it's still hard to get that ratio of 100% KO. And the opponent he's got, Estonian fighter he's got on Friday, he's never been stopped, I think, in 20 odd fights. So, he'll be looking to take Jimmy the distance for the first time. So, it'll be a good night's work for Jimmy Friday.
It will.
One last question for you. You've obviously trained many fighters from debutant right through to world championship level. I think the famous and probably quite a relative fighter to this partnership would be Darren Barker, who you sat down with in build up to this event, and you had a really good chat on the podcast that we did. How does the Darren Barker story kind of relate to Jimmy Sain's story? Being a middleweight, coming through the ranks, and obviously Darren went on with yourself to win that famous world title in Atlantic City.
Yeah, as you say, Darren, they turned pro roughly the same age. I think Darren was 22 as well when he turned pro, and he was a successful amateur, and he boxed, as you say, boxed for the Repton Amateur Boxing Club, both the same weight, middleweight, and as we know, Darren won British, Commonwealth, European, world title, so step by step, and he won the Southern Area title first, Darren, which Jimmy, I believe, is mandatory for now. So it's just step by step, Southern Area, you get used to the distance, the rounds, and then British, Commonwealth, and you go step by step like that.
Jimmy, does that sound good to you, kind of going through the traditional route, Southern Area, English, British, Commonwealth, European, then world titles?
Yeah, to be compared to Darren Barker and his career he had was unbelievable. So to do something similar would be definitely a goal. Like you said, the whole way through the traditional route, that's something that me and Tony spoke about in the gym, and it's something that we want to do.
Well, Darren Barker certainly talks very highly of you, and he thinks you're very capable, so we look forward to that again, another step further on this Friday, the Origins event.
Jimmy, what should fans expect from you on Friday night?
I expect a good boxing performance. I think people might know I've got power, but I haven't really shown in the ring too much of my boxing ability as well. So I'd like to show that as well.
Do you think this is your toughest opponent to date?
I mean, I'm not fighting world beaters, it's obvious. Well, it's not obvious, but I've only started very early in my pro career, so they're going to be tough opponents. So I reckon this will be the toughest one yet. Like Tony said, never been stopped. So yeah, it might give me a tough nut to work.
You're known for your toughness and your style has earned you a lot of respect. What's the biggest challenge that you've overcome in your career?
Biggest challenge I've probably overcome is I've had obviously everyone they lose and they come back, but I think the hardest bit is to get back in the gym and to work hard again to come back. Just not physically but mentally as well, to get yourself out of bed, to get yourself back training. Yeah, it's hard, so come through it as a lot as an amateur and maybe get into pro, but hope not yet.
Sounds like you've got a great mindset. Just one last question for you. What's one personal achievement that you're most proud of outside of the ring?
It's quite a hard question, to be honest, because my whole life revolves around boxing. It's always boxing comes first and everything, but yeah, I'm not too sure. I suppose I've got a great family around me, so I'm proud of everyone in my family. They've got a good support
Great
team.
support system.
Yeah, so yeah, say that.
Fantastic.
One last thing I actually want to mention about Jimmy, and he doesn't speak a lot about this, but he still goes down to Repton Boxing Club every Thursday and he spends time with those kids and trains those kids, giving them advice, trying to push the next generation. So I just want to say that you probably deserve a round of applause for your community work as well.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Everyone will work today. I've got a couple, I've got my granddad, one of my sponsors up there, so yeah,
Oh,
please.
Granddad's a great
Yeah,
fan.
granddad's turned up for me today, so.
We should have given Grandad wine. He's a big character. He's been hyping you up out there in the lobby as well.
Yeah, he's a hype man for me. He goes around hyping me up everywhere he goes, so I appreciate him a lot.
Is he a big West Ham fan as well?
He is a West Ham fan as well, so yeah.
Up the Irons.
Yeah.
Now, George, you're one of the most exciting young fighters in boxing right now. How have you developed your skill set to get to this point?
You know, look, I've worked very hard in the gym. I'll be lying if I didn't say I think I have natural talent, you know. I've been doing this since I was very young, 7, 8 years old, with my dad, you know, at my amateur gym. I've got that natural talent. But, you know, working with Tony, it's really brought out another side to my game. You know, that spitefulness, that power, I've really developed that as I turn into a pro now. And, you know, as Tony was saying earlier, I feel like I'm only 22, but I feel like my mindset's starting to come into play now, and you're starting to see me punching harder as well. So not just the natural skill that I have, you know, the ability that I can box with, but also now the power. You know, it's a scary mix. So yeah, I train like I'm no good as well. You know what I'm saying? Like when I go to the gym every day, I'm my biggest self-critic. You know, I always think it's not good enough. So then there we go. We train harder, we get better.
You definitely are one of your biggest self-critics, and we've had some really kind of tough conversations as well. Like, you know, a few fights ago, I remember you saying you come out of that performance and you're feeling a bit flat in Vegas, and then, you know, I said to you, but don't worry, it's going to click. And then the last couple of fights, I mean, we have just seen a different George Willard. That last fight was crazy good, the way you knocked George Davey out. Tony, what was the difference? What happened? What do you think clicked between you and George, and why we started to see him really excel?
I think you put yourself down about the fight in Vegas. I think it wasn't a bad performance. He boxed an unbeaten Mexican fighter, and they were both young and both unbeaten. And I think he won on points, but it was good. It was, you know, I think it was a good performance really. But like George says, he's his own worst self-critic, and I think he's starting to believe in himself. That's the difference now. Believe that he can be good, and you know, it's all learning in the gym. Everything you do in boxing is learning in the gym. It's about, you know, practicing what you're being taught, and taking that into the sparring, and just keep practicing and practicing, and that's what sparring's about. It's not about having wars, it's about practicing what you're learning. And Georgie's been doing that, and his ears are always open, he's always willing to learn, and as he says, he trains really, really hard as well. So he's a great prospect. At 22 years of age, he's a great talent.
How's camp been with Jimmy and Maisie?
It's good, it's good to have other people in camp at the same time. We're all going through the troubles together, so look, this life ain't easy. The camps we do with Tony, they're rough, and I'll be lying if I sat here and said I enjoy training every day. I don't. I wake up some days and I think it's the worst thing I could be doing, but that's why I have to do it. That's what I have to do. When I get in there in that ring or fight night, I've left no stone unturned. There's not a part of my camp that I'm not working on. I've got Greg Meehan, my mindset, my breathwork coach. I'm doing my SNC with John Ryder. Got Tony, a very experienced coach, and John's in the gym too, seeing me spar. I take on a lot of knowledge from him too. So there's not a part of my camp. There's no stone I leave unturned. I work on everything. My nutrition, everything. I'm a true professional, and I live this game.
Talking of world class, you've got a world class team. You've had some world class sparring. Denzel Bentley was just sitting here a moment ago, really singing your praises. What's it been like sharing the ring with him, especially as he went on to win the British and Commonwealth and now become the WBO #1 challenger?
Yeah, massive congrats to Denzel. It's great to share rounds with him. Great experience. He's been there. He's been at the world's top with Yanni Beck. In a fight that I thought, was close, he really gave it to Yanni Beck. So better than I think anyone has. So. All credit to him. It's great to share the ring with him and to get kind words off him about my ability and my potential. It's great. It's great for confidence too. At the end of the day.
So the awkward question I'm going to ask is, how far away do you think you are from challenging for the British middleweight title?
I knew this one would come up. So we've got a British middleweight champion up there right now. Listen, I believe I'm a couple fights away from that, 2 big performances away from that at the end of the day. Listen, I've still got to do the 10 rounds, still got to get myself up to that 12-round fight, but, I'm sure Denzel will say the same. I'm a couple fights away from that, and I know I've got the ability to go on and push for these titles, so it's just about making it happen now. And I'm excited. I'm excited for those big nights, them 50-50 fights, them ones you're going into where people are doubt whether you can get through the other side. I'm made for those nights, and I can't wait to get there.
Tony, one last question from me. Quite a step up as he fights Omar Lunga. It's going to be announced today. 26 wins, 2 losses. Quite a big record. Somebody that we would look at as a big step up for George. Quite experienced, coming all the way over from Italy. How do you feel about this fight, and where does this put George in terms of another step closer to title challenges?
Yeah, as you say, he's a very experienced fighter. He's been around a long time. He's only had 2 defeats out of like 30 fights, so I think it's a good step up for George. It's his first 10-rounder, and I'm looking forward to George boxing on the night. He's put in a good camp, and he's as he says, he's only 22 years old, and I think that he'll put on a good performance on Friday and live on DAZN as well. So I'm looking forward to it.
George, this event is happening at York Hall. You're making your debut. How does that motivate you? You're going to be boxing in the most iconic venue.
I'm excited, not just to be boxing it for the first time, but to be headlining it too. Some going, but listen, a fight's a fight anywhere. Back garden, York Hall, big arena. A fight's a fight. I'm a fighting man, and I'll fight any man. So like they say, 29 wins, 2 losses doesn't mean nothing to me. I'm going to go out there and I'm going to take his head off. That's all that matters. It's another opponent, another win, and that's all that matters. But I'm excited to headline York Hall.
Fantastic. Got one last question, George. Outside of boxing, what's one thing that keeps you grounded and focused?
My faith, my belief in Christ. It keeps me every day. There's nothing greater than God. Every time I win, that means nothing if there's no God. It means nothing. God gives me the ability to do that. God gives me the confidence. God gives me the strength to get through every single fight I've had. Listen, going back before I turned pro, I went through some rough times back in lockdown. Obviously, I won't talk about it too much, but personal troubles. And the only thing that got me through that at the time was God. So without Him, I'm nothing. Without Him, all of us are nothing. So yeah, I thank God for keeping me grounded, keeping me humble, and keep me working hard.
Have you got any final words for any fans watching?
I want to say a big thanks to everyone who's going to come out. You know, Friday night it's going to be a big show. We're looking forward to putting on a show for you all. I was trying to do you all proud. You know, my family, my girlfriend, everyone that comes out and supports me. I was trying to do you all proud. I can't wait for the big nights when we sell out arenas. This is all part of the journey. All part of the journey. And I couldn't do what I do without you. You know, you get me through it. So thank you to you all.
I've got one last question for you, Tony. I've got to say, it's also Charlie's promotional debut. You must be proud of him.
Yeah, as you say, this is their debut at promoting, and I know he's worked extremely hard for this show. He's got his own, obviously, filming it, and it's been hard work. I mean, I haven't promoted the show for over 20 years, to be honest, and I've been helping him behind the scenes, but I forgot how hard it actually really was, and it's difficult. People don't realise that behind the scenes there's a lot of work going on to get this done, and you know, we're nearly here now, and I'm sure it's going to be a full house on Saturday night, Friday night.
Fantastic. Well, thank you, George, and thank you, Tony.
Okay.